Dental Fuel, the podcast that focuses on what no one else is talking about: mistakes. The dental world is full of before and afters, and no one is talking about the middle. Dental Fuel brings you the unspoken in-between. Dental Fuel is brought to you by Ignite DDS Masterminds. Masterminds is a program that helps provide you the tools you need to take the next steps in your career. In our last episode, Irene closes out our conversation by sharing some powerful expert advice. Let's listen in. Well, I've really enjoyed, hearing about yourself, about your journey, what you're doing, and you've educated me a lot about, the differences between how things are done here in the States and in Canada. If you had to leave our listeners with a piece of advice, whether it's for how they practice, how they live their life, what would that piece of advice be?
Oh, taking deep breaths before big sentences. And that no is a full sentence.
That's powerful.
Yeah,
that should be a poster.
No is a full sentence. You don't have to explain your no. Yep. But the deep breaths before a big sentence is, I think, a lesson that I also had to learn the hard way, especially when working with people.
Can you expand on that?
Yeah. Being as a business owner, as a practice owner, as a leader, right? You are being held to a higher standard. You're being held to a higher level of organization. You're being held to a higher level of compassion, of empathy, of understanding. Aside from your clinical skill, you are the exemplary person to a group of people that come to work to perform for the business, but also for you. So if you come to work in track pants, you set the example that people can come to work in track pants. And I'm not saying that we're wearing bow ties and we're dressing for the ball, but when things don't go your way, you also can't snap. I had employers before who would throw instruments and say hurtful things. One who grabbed my arm when I said no as a full sentence and walked out of the room. So if you ever feel that way, and I have felt that way, and I still feel that way, take a deep breath before you make that sentence and imagine, is that the level that you are expecting of your team members to feel that is exemplary, because that is the way that they will speak to your patients. So
you set the example. Yeah. Irene, thank you so much for your time. If our listeners would like to connect with you, what's the best way?
Instagram, Tooth Life Irene on Instagram is the best place. And you can find all my other spider web locations from my Instagram profile.
You got a link in bio?
I think so. Yeah, I think we got a bunch of different things in there.
Very cool. Irene, thank you so much for your time. And thank you everyone for listening.
Have a nice day. Peace out, peeps.
Thanks for tuning in to our conversation with Irene Iancu. We hope that you will continue to listen to our Dental Fuel podcast. Make sure you follow Irene on Instagram at toothlife.irene. You can also follow us on Instagram at DentalFuel and at IgniteDDS. You can also find me on Instagram at tsmaestas.dds. Have you checked out Dental Masterminds yet? Make sure you check it out at ignitedds.com/masterminds.